Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pool Box Pals podcast. I am one of your pals. My name is Monk, and with me is the ever charming and you haven't aged a day in the entire time that I've known you. It is my buddy Mark, the ageless. How do
No,
you
I
do
don't.
it?
I
Is
don't.
it those? What's your secret?
I wouldn't quite call it like a Paul Rudd syndrome or whatever. But
Oh,
I don't know.
I
No, I've definitely aged. But I don't
I guess
know.
I've only
I
ever
think it.
seen. Well, that's not true. I saw you in real life a couple of years ago. Maybe it's only through the glitz and the glamour of the internet that
Yeah,
you
the
look
the
as
can the
youthful.
camera adds. It definitely adds.
It adds what? Youth?
Yeah, that
Well,
is where the fountain of youth is the internet. That mythical thing that is actually just the internet. So.
wow. Okay. Well, we figured it out. How you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. But just on that note, with like I've been working my new job, and I've been telling you it's fun, and it's like working in an adult lemonade stand. But it's really funny just when it comes to people and their age when they get ID'd by me. It's really
Mm.
funny, like how many people younger than me are just like complaining,
Oh, really?
like people that are like in their like mid to late 20s, like, oh, I can't believe you're IDing me. Oh, I just look so old. I'm like. I did a kid that was 10 years younger than me, almost to the day,
Yeah.
and he's like you really need my ID, like you can't tell that, like I'm like, okay, like for one, like IDing you isn't just necessarily because I want to know how
Right.
old
Yeah.
you are. It's also because like you legally have to have your ID on you to have a
Right.
drink.
Right.
And
Yeah. You're just
but
doing
yeah,
your job.
it's just really funny to me how like upset people get about being ID'd, and like then my wife and I, whenever we get ID'd, I never get ID'd when I'm alone, but when I'm with her, I do, and then it's the same thing for her. She never gets ID'd when she's alone, but when we're together, we get ID'd.
I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's. Yeah. I wonder if they're
Yeah,
just trying to figure out if there's an age difference. Do you have
yeah,
money? Who does she have the money? Which one of you's got the money? But you guys are both equally attractive people, so it's not like that's not the case. So I don't
no,
know.
she's
Anyways,
deaf.
buddy, have you ever you ever hear of these things called comic books? I'm a
What
big
are they?
fan of
Tell
them.
me about them.
Well, they're a book, a series of pieces of paper stapled together that has illustrated stories.
How many
Isn't that excited?
staples?
Three. I think. If I had to, I think it's
I
three.
believe that's right.
That's gonna be next in the comic industry. Instead of them like, they're gonna be like, we got to stop doing reprints. We're gonna start cutting out the middle staple. Um, our issues are gonna be $4 a whop. Oh, I guess they are $4 a whop. Yeah, the $3.99, right?
Some are $3.99, some are $5.99.
Yeah, I bought one today. That's $4.99. I think it'll be worth it. And you also bought
Yeah.
it. That was $4.99. Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. I might know which one you're talking about, and I think it's the first one I'm going to show.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to start with all of my Image comics because that's what I got most of
Oh,
today.
you're right so far.
Yeah. So beware the Eye of Odin.
Yes, sir.
I'm so excited about this.
I knew you would be.
Just I love. I'm not like a devout Norseman,
Ha.
but I love just everything. I mean, like, everybody knows my favorite comic book character is Thor. Well, for Marvel anyway, and
Mhm.
um, I don't know, just being in the religious studies aspect of life too, and like having to study that culture and like just how it developed and how it went away, and it's just fun. So it was like a good take on that Norse mythology.
Yeah, I've always known that about you, that you appreciated those things. Well, not always. I don't think you've always, in the terms of our relationship, but I have you ever read anything by this gentleman who wrote this? Because I have.
I don't think that I have. Let me bring him up. Doug Wagner.
Yeah. He did a series called, oh Jesus, I'm blanking on it now. One was, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on both of them. I want to call it Purple, but that's not it. You can fill time. Look this up while I fill time. But oh,
Yeah.
Plastic. Plastic was the last one that he did. Or no, that was the first
Oh,
one
but
that he did, I believe.
Oh, and he did vinyl.
Yep, that's it. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I've read vinyl. I at
Okay, did
least
you?
I read I shouldn't say I read vinyl. I read an issue of vinyl, and it's because I for some reason like issue 6 randomly ended up in like my pull box one day, and I just didn't check before I like paid. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like, here's my money.
Ah,
And I got home. I'm like, oh, I don't have an issue of vinyl. Like, I don't like why would I want
right.
to start at issue 6?
So did you read it? Because that's funny because I don't even think I finished it. I either own all of them or I own up to issue 5.
Well, I'll send you my issue 6. You can
Okay.
have it.
I'm pretty sure I do. I can check. I'm pretty sure I put it in my my long box,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it, but I had a hard time following it. It felt like it jumped a lot and the jumps weren't clear to where they were jumping.
Yeah.
Um, but I
And
think, yeah,
I don't think I really read issue 6. I remember like skimming through it and probably reading a panel or two or whatever per page, but just more like skimming over the whole thing than I did actually like an in-depth like reading of.
yeah.
So I couldn't tell you anything about it other than, does it have to do with vinyl albums?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy essentially, I don't know, it's kind of like a Winter Soldier symptom of whenever he puts on this certain song, he gets into a like a trance state and he does a
Huh.
lot of murdering.
Yeah.
But I think from what I remember, he like self-induces it. He's kind of like a hitman and he's kind of like a hitman for hire in a world of other hitmen for hire. And
Okay.
I think that's what it is. This is like me trying to remember the plot of a comic I read, I guess a year ago or something like that. But
Yeah, that was a while
yeah,
ago.
it was like I said, it was fun and it was enjoyable. The art was great. Which I mean, it's different person, I believe, from this comic, but the you know the
Well,
Beware the Eye of
the
Odin.
covers
But
are fantastic for each
yeah,
issue. So,
I've only seen just this issue number 1, but the art looks good. It's kind of something outside of what I would normally look for, but it is kind of in that world of like I've been talking a lot about lately. Is I just want something fun and like enjoyable,
yeah.
and the art looks pretty fun and enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, yeah, I'm excited to get into that one. And I'm sure we'll be talking about that next week.
Yeah,
But next up, I have my issue 3 of Bloodstained Teeth. Um, I know that I have been liking this series, um, but I kind of now that it's over and we've both watched it, and I'm just going to assume that everybody else also is as nerdy as we are has already watched Obi-Wan, but
sure.
I kind of feel like this is kind of the same concept. It's pretty slow starting, like it's
Mm,
interesting. There's something gripping about it, but like I just think that this issue here is probably going to be like way more intense than the last issue. The last issue, I wouldn't necessarily say it was intense, but it was definitely a step up from the first issue, and just
right. Yeah.
like and just the excitement of the overall story. I also just really like the artwork. I haven't looked into this one yet. I bet board and bagged it as soon as I got home with it,
Nice.
um,
I
the
need to
last two
start doing
issues
that,
I've
bud.
yeah, no. So that the last time I ordered boards and bags was actually last week, and they arrived last Thursday. And they arrived, and the bag that held the bags together was broken upon arrival. So like all the bags were just sliding out. So I just looked at my wife, and it was just like, "So we're gonna do all these right now. There's like 200,
Oh,
but
jeez.
at least they're all ready." So,
Yeah.
and
There you
then
go.
lastly from Image, they finally got my issue 1 in of 8 Billion Genies. So I know everybody and their
Nice.
mothers already read this one, but I finally get to catch up.
Nice. And you
Yeah,
haven't read it yet, right?
I haven't
Only I
read it
have.
yet. No, sorry,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
wasn't my last Image comic. But yeah, you read it, and then somebody else I know read it as well, and they
Mm.
somebody commented on you having it,
I
like on
guess that would
Instagram.
probably
Or something.
be
Yeah,
Andy,
it's
right?
probably
Yeah,
Andy.
Andy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andy. Yeah.
I was talking. We actually were at the comic shop the day that I got that Alchemist Cove. Shout out to them.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and yeah, um, I remember we were talking about, we were on the fence. We were both on the fence about getting it, and I mean, I'm glad that I did. I don't know if I'll stick to the end, but I definitely will. I'm gonna ride the train until I don't want to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can hop off the train whenever you want. You know,
Right. Yeah. You just leave.
what you can't hop off of whenever you want is a plane,
Oh,
but a
what does that
train.
mean?
Well, I mean,
What-
you're more likely to die, I think, jumping out of a plane at any time.
I
But
thought
like,
you were gonna do a segue into a comic that you were talking about.
no, I'm being absolutely serious right now.
Wow.
But in a way,
Okay. Good.
talking about things that are deathly, I do have one more Image comic, and I know you have it too. And honestly, I'm really jealous of your cover, Silver Coin 11.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
this was kind of a surprise to me. I kind of
Me
forgot that I was
too.
getting this today, and so when it was in my polls, I was just like, yes, finally, that cover is so cool.
Yeah. Dude, so I was literally driving to my comic shop and I was like, when's Silver Coin coming out again? And then I got into the shop and the guy behind the counter was like, hey, I've got like just he said like two comics. He's like, one was the Eye of Odin, and he's like, I can't remember what the other one was. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he was helping a customer, went over and got it, and then just plopped down the silver coin. I'm like, oh, yay! It was just like, it was such a nice surprise to
That's
just pop
awesome.
up. Yeah.
And then transitioning to Behemoth. I know you got this one too. This
Yeah.
one was originally, I think, supposed to come out last week. At least that's what my thing said. But the Illusion Witch.
Right. Yeah. I remember you saying that last week.
This kind of honestly seems like a sort of play on Doctor Strange.
Okay. I
Just a
see now
little bit.
I haven't looked into it at all. Do you know what it's about?
I do.
Do you mind
It
filling
took
me in
some.
on that there?
Well, let's just start with the what they tell us. The Illusion Witch tells the story of Adia Locke, a world famous illusionist traumatized by the loss of her father and son. She has
Hmm.
become cold and disconnected from reality, transported to Sari, a fantasy world filled with magic and danger. She is paired with a talking quoll, a warrior, his son, and a powerful mage. Hunted by the three Wraith with monstrous intentions,
Oh
Adia will
boy.
face her inner demons while battling real life
Oh.
monsters in her attempts to save herself and Sari.
I wonder if her
So
inner demons have anything to do with her dead dad and son, and will have anything be brought up by the man and the child that as she seems to be working with, right?
let's 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 hope it's not that predictable.
Yeah. Um I mean, I that sounds like super jaded. We both wouldn't be getting it if it wasn't like interesting looking, and I'm
Yeah,
a fan of the art. Um
yeah.
I
The
I
art's what
just
drew me into it.
Yeah, and it was also, oh, I just smacked my camera. Thanks. What?
Ooh.
Sorry, everybody. Um. Yeah, and also
Sometimes
it's
your
kind of
camera needs a
thin.
good smack.
It's thin, and do you have like what's your cover feel like? I know this is a weird question, but it feels like that kind of like cardboardy paper.
Yeah,
Is that
it
yeah,
feels like the boards that you get for your bagging and boarding. Like it's that
dude.
kind of like thickness but glossy.
Behemoth and not Aftershock, Scout Comics. They do comics like this, and I really like them. I
Yeah.
hope that whatever it is like a better way of producing comics, because I would love for that to for all comics to go the way of it. I think that the it just holds the art better. I don't know. I'm a big fan.
Are you just talking about the paper that
Yeah,
they use? Yeah.
yeah.
Well, DC does that with some of their releases too.
I wonder what the impetus is to make to choose between one or the other.
Pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar. Well, then I would assume if it's the smaller publishers are going, that route, I would assume that it's cheaper to go that way. And again, I
Yeah,
just
but
enjoy.
I would also say that in this like market too that Um, like in the world of like beer, I think like craft brewers are willing to spend a little bit more on their packaging and stuff than
Mm,
someone like Budweiser would, because Budweiser has a solid design that they've had for years. Um, People have known about it forever, and so they probably just buy like millions of board like
right.
per quarter, and it's a lot cheaper for them to do that. But like with smaller craft breweries and even like cider houses and stuff, you have to market it in a certain way that will not only be appealing to the site but just like the feel and just the
Right. Yeah.
overall. So
So
I
yeah,
would
that's a
say
fair
that
point.
that's my argument for like why some of the smaller companies are doing better board and paperwork.
Well, maybe the big guys should learn something from the little
Yeah.
guys. But
And
speaking of learning something, oh, never mind.
I got one more. This
Oh
is my last
no,
one.
what are we gonna do?
It's a Marvel. So
Oh,
it's
wow,
I believe it's issue 5. So this must be the final issue of the Crimson Reign arc. Um,
nice.
so I'm excited to read this. I really like how Kira's kind of holding Vader like he's a chess piece in this.
Yeah, that's an
Um,
interesting route there. So
yeah.
I haven't been keeping up with it at all. What do you think about her character?
I like that they brought her into the comics.
Yeah,
Because in a
because
way
that's
it was able to separate her from, you know, Solo is a fun, it can be a fun movie if you're just like, I want something Star Warsy and kind of cheesy, and um, it's not the best work that Star Wars has put out, and that's where she came from,
hmm
and or at least in most people's minds, like that's where they're going to identify her to. But comics do such a great thing of development of great characters, and I think that they've turned her into a very solid like comic book character. And
mm,
I kind of tried to talk about it last week too. It's just like the main run of Star Wars. Like I'm rereading this run of Star Wars, the 20 what it started in 2020, and
hmm
it's just now finishing with issue 4 or 24. Um, like the going back and rereading it now and like knowing where it ends, it's just like it was so well done. And then also the guy who wrote this is Charles Soule, and and I brought him up before, but he's done so much with Star Wars.
yeah,
He did one of the Vader runs. I'm pretty sure he did the initial. I think he did one of the Vader runs. He did the initial Star Wars run, like the
yeah,
2015 series. I think.
right,
Um, I I think I can't remember specifically which ones he did, but the ones that he's done,
sure,
I've enjoyed them and I've really liked them. So
mm,
I'm not like worried about this issue. I'm
nice,
excited about it.
nice. That's a good
Whereas like,
feeling.
yeah,
Isn't it so interesting when Star Wars is? I mean, I don't like this. It's not a good place to be, but I feel like we definitely walk this fine line between like really good stuff and then just like, oh, please don't ruin Star Wars. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But I feel like we talk about that a bunch. But are you ready to swing it over to me because I have a great segue?
That was me passing the
Wow. I
ball.
was all right. I'm gonna catch the ball now and say I'm gonna start with my Marvel comic pool for the week, which is just one Marvel comic, and it is Maestro World War M #4. And man, we are talking about. I remember when I saw when I read #3, and this was like in the back, and you could see the cover
Yeah.
for #4. I remember being stoked about this because I'm like, there's the fucking Hulk Maestro character fighting a giant whale. And that's what I want to see when I look at comic book covers. And yeah, I mean,
You want to see the greats doing something absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, and I mean, it's again, like it's just such a good view into what you're gonna get in the comic, and not just like and I hate to compare it, but like the next couple of comic issues that I'm going to be pulling up are just kind of vague, whatever. But this again, you can kind of just see what's happening. Um, yeah, and as far as like the story goes and all that stuff, I'm I'm this is like kind of just junk food for me when it comes to reading comics, which is weird because comics are just kind of junk food in general, right?
Yeah.
Um, I just kind of just eat this up and it just passes through me and I don't really think about it again until I see it on the shelf and I'm just like, oh, do I want to get it? Meh, why not? Um, and like honestly, I've been like so iffy about being on this run, but if yeah, I mean, as long as they continue to do good covers, then I think I just got a sneak peek at next week cover or next month's cover, and if it's not looking great, uh, yeah, it's the finale. It's just like it's just him punching through the title. Who cares? I have no
Yeah.
idea what's happening then, and maybe that's good. Maybe it's a
Maestro.
spoiler, but like, yeah, it's nothing compared to this. Like, there's a good chance that this ends up on the wall for a little bit. But anyways, I've talked far too long about this comic.
No,
A
that's
lot of
fine. I'm gonna look at the. Wait, that's not right. What is
oh no,
this?
that's
No, Maestro like World War
World War
something.
M. Yeah.
Okay,
But yeah, I'm
you
excited to
go
read
on.
it.
I'm
I will.
looking.
I will. You keep looking for whatever it is you're looking. But now I'm going to jump over to Image Comics, and the rest that I'm going to be showing are Image. Like I said, and we talked about already. I already got the Illustrated Witch, Beware the Eye of Odin, and what there was a third one that we got, wasn't there? Both got. Oh yeah, the silver coin. See, I keep forgetting about it. But I was looking forward for this next one to come out more than I thought I was. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I was more excited for this to show up than I figured I would be. But it's I Hate This Place #2.
yeah. I didn't go. I didn't get number 2.
Did it not show up, or did you just want to jump off?
I wanted to jump off. I
Huh,
didn't.
this is
I.
interesting
It
because
is.
most of the
This is.
time I jump off before you jump off,
Yeah.
but also it was one issue in, so
I do think though that it might have been a combination of like I may not have put it as like a
that's my dog,
subscribe and
everybody.
I may not have put it as like a subscribe and pull with my shop.
Mhm.
I may have just pulled the first issue and not
Right.
and I do declare that sometimes when I tell them like, oh, I'm looking into getting this, I'll just say like I'm just getting
I do
issue 1 and I'll
declare.
see. I do declare I'm only getting issue 1.
I'm
Issue
only
2
gonna get.
I'll decide
Don't you be
upon
trying
later.
to sneak this into my pool box. I'm only gonna be getting issue 1.
But anyways, but yeah, so when I saw got it, I was at first I was like, oh man, I didn't get it, but then at the same time I was like, but I didn't actually like the first one like really at all, and
Right. So
why
why stay
like
on?
I saved myself $4, so
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
You can get a whole meal at Wendy's.
yeah,
Um yeah. Bad artery decisions aside. But yeah, but I actually read this earlier, kind of breezed through it pretty quickly. I really enjoy it. And I have such a hard time telling humor in comics because I'm like, this seems like it's kind of trying to be funny, but it's also kind of dark. And I can't
yeah,
and then I'm like, oh, do I just got a real dark sense of humor? Or like was this, bad writing when it's supposed to be serious, Um,
yeah,
but I my reading experience of this has been enjoyable. So for me,
okay,
that's that's all I'm gonna say about it.
all
Um,
right,
but I
uh,
guess I don't even know if we talked about the premise. We didn't at all in this episode. I guess we probably have the
yeah,
last time, but a couple inherit a haunted farmhouse, and it's only haunted at night with like zombies and aliens and like
yeah,
all that kind of crazy stuff. And so they're
and you
trying
can
to figure
apparently
out,
never leave.
yeah, well, the curse follows you.
Yeah,
So they leave and go somewhere else, and let's just say the curse shows up, and that's kind of fun. Part of one of the funny things that happened. But
yeah,
anywho, it's yeah, like I said,
yeah,
if that kind of if you're interested, you're interested. But
yeah,
that cover and the cover of the comic that I'm about to show you again, they're just not that like I I like the comics, I like the creators, but it's the comics themselves are just kind of like, well, what's happening? And
yeah.
Newburn is definitely like 100% this, and I'm kind of bummed because I go on and on about how much I love Jacob Phillips, and I think he does a lot of these covers, if I'm
Yeah.
correct. And I would really love to see something a little bit more. Again, but it's hard because it's a noir detective drama kind of series. I also haven't. I'm like, this is gonna be. I haven't read issue 6, or maybe I did. See, I don't know. So like, I'm behind. Honestly, like it wasn't. It was very much just like a detective book with like
Yeah.
pictures, is what it kind of felt like, and the story wasn't really rolling for me. And it sucks because it's one of those things I would love to catch up on, but my read pile is just like filling up. So it's
Yeah.
I would love to get to it, but I just other things keep cutting in the way, and then more issues keep coming. But hopefully, I jump on it. But if Newborn is about a private detective who works for the mob families to kind of help figure out the what's going on between the mobs and the mob related activities and things that get in the way and interfere and all those things. And
Huh.
yeah, so it's a
Where
brilliant
where
premise.
where were you? Were
Mm,
you first introduced to Phillips through that Texas Blood, or where did you?
I think I was aware of Jacob Phillips because he's done some other stuff before that Texas Blood that was a little bit more notable. And I know that I'd seen it somewhere before, because I remember when I saw it in that Texas Blood, I'm like, I was familiar with it and I knew that I enjoyed it. So, but yeah, jump on that Texas Blood,
He had a,
everybody.
from what I'm seeing, and again, League of Comic Geeks might not have everything, but it seems like his earliest issue that he did was called Criminal from Image Comics.
Okay, wasn't that with Ed Brubaker?
It's
I'm
with, let's see here. Yeah, it
I'm
is.
trying. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, look at that. Yeah, that would be a great scene. I'm trying to. I don't think I have it, but I don't
See,
know. I don't think.
that's what I was associating him with, was Ed Brubaker. Did they do something else together? Did they do Pulp?
No, I don't believe so. That was Sean Phillips. That was kind of
Oh, Sean Phillips. It's still
yeah. Well, maybe that's his dad. Maybe they're related. Because I mean,
maybe.
there's a John Romita Jr. is John Romita Sr.'s son, so
Yeah.
there's a chance. I feel like that's a pretty common thing
So
in
you're
comic
saying
books of
there's a
having like.
chance?
So they're saying there's a chance. Um, I was like, we had a soundboard, like a real radio show. Um, but I have one last. Actually, no, that was the last pool I have, because the comic that I have sitting over here is one of the comics that I want to talk about. But we're not going to talk about that right away.
All right.
We're going to talk about a comic book that
We only
is
have one book that we read
one book that we
together.
both read. I was going to say
Yeah.
the probably, from what I'm hearing, the best current dinosaur based pop culture thing being put out,
Yeah.
meaning that I heard Jurassic Dominion wasn't too good.
That's what I've been hearing as well.
Yeah,
My
I
my
haven't
wife
seen
and
it.
kids went and saw it the other night, and
Oh no.
my youngest has never seen a Jurassic film, for one. And then Kate, my wife, just had like incredibly low expectations for the movie, but just thought it'd be fun to take the kids to go see it, and they all
Mm,
came back and like loved it.
okay.
So, but again, my wife and I are really, really good at going into movies with low expectations, just so we do come out on the other side of being like, okay, this is what I like, the good I took from it, and like what was enjoyable.
Right. Yeah.
So
Which is
I don't
a
know.
sad commentary on the state of movies. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to segue. But if I had to watch a movie, I would watch this movie. Maybe I feel like it would be a wasted IP. But we're talking about Jurassic
League.
League #2.
Yeah, mine's
Do you
sitting
have
right
it?
here.
I
Yeah.
don't have mine. I'm pretty sure we have the same cover.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I believe we do. But it's a 6 issue limited series. We both got the first one. I was on my road trip when it came out. And
I
so
was on a road trip when I read #2, except I wasn't on a road trip. I was at the beach.
yeah. But I don't know. I like things I do like about this Jurassic League though. It's just like they're not really holding back any punches, like even like literally the characters, but even just like they're really just going for it, and it's super fun. Like I
Mhm.
really enjoyed reading it. Is it the greatest comic book ever? No, is it the greatest DC thing ever? No, but it's fun. It's fitting for like the pop culture time. And I mean, just again, looking at the cover, like I kind of spoke into it, but just look at you got the bat dino biting into the arm of is that
Bizarro
Ed,
Dino.
yeah, the Bizarro dino, and it's just like it is like that bloody. Like it is like
Yeah,
dinosaurs fighting, but they're superheroes. It's
right.
I don't know,
Well,
it's just
that's
it's fun.
I know I said this last week about the comic, but it feels so much like a newspaper comic. Like the
Yeah.
comic was just intended to be a fun romp through this weird alternative
Like
universe,
you went down to Mr. Barry's pharmacy and gift shop with your mom to pick up something and
She's got
that's
a
what was sitting that's
prescription.
yeah, and that's what yeah, mom's got a prescription to get. It's the 1950s, by the way. And
Yeah.
uh
And
and
uh
this is what's sitting on the counter for kids to see, and it's 25 cents or a
but
nickel
doesn't it feel like
or
it would be
whatever.
like it feels like outside of the weird like mom analogy, that's exactly what it feels like
Yeah.
outside of like the gore of it all. But I I think you're 100% right that it just is like full blown like what are you reading for if you're gonna like it doesn't expect you, it doesn't explain, or how do you say this? It doesn't make excuses for the premise. It just goes for the premise. And I think
Yeah.
that that's like just fantastic. I wish I almost picked up. There's a Perry White comic that came out this week,
Huh.
who's the head of the Daily Planet,
Yeah.
and I wish I would have picked that up, but I stopped myself because I'm like, Tim Monk, if you're going to read comics that from DC, read like not just weird offshoots, jump on some normal stuff. So again, if you're out there
It's
listening and
called
you're a fan of DC, let me know what to jump on. What were you gonna
it's
say?
called Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen's boss Perry White.
Yeah.
The
So that's
cover
why
is
I'm like,
brilliant.
I
I
know
love
it's
the
him holding
cover.
up the world and like
But
everyone kind of
it
looking at him
is
funny.
it has but just the cover alone has the same feel as this. It's that one that's just on the rack there while mom's cashing out for her prescription
Dude, I mean, DC
and
dropped a whole
vodka.
lot of new comics this week, and we talk about how, they're currently one of the top selling comics. So
Yeah,
I think, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think we're wrong about this, Mark. I think we need to be
I think
jumping
we're
on
wrong.
DC,
I
but I just don't know where
I'm
to
gonna run to
jump
my
on at.
comic shop real quick. I'll be right back. I'm just kidding. But I do.
I
I want to go see if they have this Perry White thing on the shelf. That would
Yeah, I'd be down to read that. Um, yeah. So, do you have anything else you want to say about? I really don't even have any cons. It's just straight up enjoyable. I think.
yeah.
I
It's
I'm
yeah.
sure that I imagine that the next couple issues are just going to be everybody meeting. There's going to be some weird, vague threat that comes up, and they're going to defeat them, and then it'll be fun. Like it's just going to be fun, you know.
Yeah.
And you said
Um
it's 6, so it's not even that long.
yeah, it's only we only got four more left, and but yeah, I'm gonna stick with it, and I'm gonna have all six issues. And even if one of them's bad, it's still like again, let's overstress it, but it's just nostalgic. It's fun. Like
Yeah,
it makes me feel happy inside, kind of like that old song, The Beatles
doesn't it?
outro.
Don't we all feel
Yeah,
happy inside? So
yeah,
what comic do you want to talk about, bud? I know you read more this
yeah.
week than I have. Classic you.
Classic me. Um, I think the first thing I'm gonna talk about is this one right here. This is a calculated man, or a
Okay, yeah.
calculated man, and I kind of I think I expressed my excitement last week when I like introduced it as in my polls, um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just I'm a math geek in a sense. At least a former version of myself was once like a math geek. Like I did all
Yeah.
the math classes my high school had to offer, and I declared a major of mathematics at two different universities. Like,
You
I don't. I like math, but I don't think I could ever have a career in it. Anyway,
sure.
this guy does. This guy here. His name is Jack Beans. That's
Nice.
and I don't even think I think that's his. I think that's his WPP name, his Witness Protection Program name. I think that
Mm.
because even in the first pages, it just opens up so well. The first thing that's posed. I have notes here. Where'd they go?
Let's get
I
into the notes.
I should just look at my notes.
Let's hear him. Yeah, because I remember I saw your Instagram story that you posted a bit of it, what it was about, and I'm kind of a little cloudy on it. So if you could refresh my memory, that would be great.
Oh, I'm getting there.
I believe it. And this is Aftershock, right?
Yeah, this comes from Aftershock, which for now I can say, since we've started this podcast, it's pretty rare that I don't like something from Aftershock.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it. Where did my notes have gone awry? They've disappeared.
Oh no.
Or maybe I just didn't write them. But anyways, I'll shoot from the hip here. So Jack Beans, he's an accountant, or a former accountant for like a mob.
Right.
And one day he tells the mob boss that like he wants out, and there's really only two ways out. It's like you're either gonna die, or he has to go into witness protection. And
right. Now that you say this, I remember that.
Yeah. Another thing about Jack Beans is he can't lie. It's impossible for him to lie. He has a condition called, I think it's synthesia, or synthesia, something like that. But like he sees numbers as colors. Which also it enables him. He has an endless memory. He remembers every detail about his like life, and can recall meeting somebody like a decade ago that he never saw again. So he can bring all this stuff up in memory. And so the story goes back and forth, though, because it starts off with the first thing you see in the first panel is Jack Bean saying, "I'm going to kill them all." That's the first line of dialogue. And he's talking to, I'm just going to open it up. He's talking to a member of the Keys crime family, of which he used to work for. He's saying that to them. Or no, he says, "What if I can kill them all?" Here, I'll show you there.
I can kind of see it.
Okay, so it just says, "What if I kill them all?" And then the guy that he's captured, he says, "What?" And then Jack Beans just goes in to, "I saw you the other day at the place that I was at, and then this very same day on a different block, I saw two other like cronies of this mob walk by, and being the math-minded person he is, he put two and two together, and figured out that he had been found, and he had already like exposed a lot of that crime syndicate family, and so." It goes back and forth between Jack Beans telling this guy he captured how he's going to kill every last member of the Keys crime family.
Nice.
And then the other story that's being told is that his like U.S. Marshal that's assigned to him for witness protection is just going and just lauding him, just saying like Jack Beans is just such a great guy, such a sweet person. And like he really is, but Jack Beans, also the calculated man that he is, figured out that like the only way he gets out of this is by killing them all. And so he calculates his like how he's going to kill these people, and like that's what this series is pretty much going to be about, is how he continues to be the person that he is, but he has to like have this dark side about him if he wants to be the person that comes out alive at the end of the arc. So I'm really excited about it. But
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and so like and the issue ends with like Jack Beans walks into the coffee diner that his agent's at, and then the person the agent's telling the story to is the lady that's going to replace him, because he's retiring. So there's another like subplot going on there that hasn't been too much alluded to, but I'm pretty excited about it. I very much enjoyed the read. I think I read it 4 times.
Wow. I can't tell you. I think my favorite comics, I don't even know if I've read 4 times.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Well, something about I do things fast.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember you being a quick reader. I'm not a quick reader. So that's the difference there. But you know what I did read quickly and then forgot about it instantly, unless you have more things you want to say about a Calculated Man.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I was on Comixology and I was just like looking around, just being like, what's on here? Let's just see what's up. And I read this comic. I really enjoyed this comic. Walked away, did a podcast or two, and then this week jumped on my Kindle, opened up my podcast app, scrolling through some recommended comics. I see this comic, I open it, and I'm like, I'm gonna read it. And then I go to click it, and it's like already ready to read. I'm like, that's weird. And I open it, and I'm like, I just scrolled to like the first page. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. And it's this comic called Cold Iron, and it's a Comixology exclusive.
Okay.
Now, oh no, okay, I think I have this up, but it is by Andy Diggle, who did Green Arrow Year One, which I wonder if they named Diggle after this guy. If he did Green Arrow Year One, which I think a lot of what like the show Arrow was taken from, if I can remember. And the art is done by Nick Brokenshire, who does work on Star Wars and
Oh
the Once
yeah.
and Future Queen. Yeah, I don't know what Star Wars, but on Star Wars. And I did have the premise pulled up, I believe. I think I did. Yeah. Okay, so the pub sub is Celtic folklore, and modern moxie collide as an ancient pact between worlds is broken. The sinister forces of fairy have slipped their shackles, and the black dog walks about at night. So when the story jumps in, I've read issue 1 and 2. They're the only ones that are out so far, but the story picks up. There's this all takes place in Ireland. So there's this girl, she's singing songs, and it's on Halloween, but they call it a different night, not Halloween. I can't remember the night. It's called like Farkenstarf or something like that. I don't know. And so this girl, she's singing to a bunch of these kids about this night, and the tale that surrounds it, and these creatures, and yada yada yada. And she goes home and she talks to her grandmother, and she's like, the younger girl is rolling her eyes at all of these things, but the older lady's like, no, they're real, they're true, and then she says, make sure that you touch the horseshoe before you leave, because there's a horseshoe hanging on the door, and that's the cold iron. So because in whatever the creatures are that are become the evil spooky things that are chasing after the main person, they're scared of cold iron. So that's why it's good to have like a horseshoe or like any of those things kind of just hanging up in your house. According to Celtic folklore. And you and I are both huge fans of folklore and myths and all those kind of things. So this just really jumped out to me. The art, the art jumped out to me. The story. And the coolest part I didn't even really get to yet is this girl is just, I believe she's driving her car through, just at night after she leaves her grandmother's, and she sees this girl who's dressed in like old timey clothing, and she crashes her car, and she, finds the girl, and she's all disoriented. And it hasn't said this outright yet, but this girl has clearly like been transported through time. That's the cover. Yeah. So
Adding it to my list.
Do it. It's super interesting. I'm excited to forget about it after I do this podcast, and then jump on my Kindles at some point and see that number 3 is out and be like, oh hell yeah, baby. So that's all I really have to say about that. It's super cool.
No,
if you
that's
like
awesome.
mythology mixed with modern stuff, and yeah, it's good stuff. It's in a similar vein to We Don't Kill Spiders, except way less
that's
gory.
exciting.
Way less gory. 1,000 times less gory. I don't think there
Issue
is
3
any
comes
gore.
out on the 12th of next month.
Yeah, so we got some time. That's plenty of time for me to forget about it.
Plenty of time. And then it'll pop up again.
You want to talk about another one? We got time for, I think, one more each.
So I was fortunate enough to grab this last week. And this is a thick boy. This kind of it lived up to the hype.
Yeah, you seemed real stoked about it.
It just, It's one of those. It's the classic Lemire of just like leaving the door open at the end for you to like have to mull over something. It's like the top spinning that Leonardo DiCaprio does
In Inception.
in Inception. Just like, you know, you just like, where did this actually end? Like what actually like led to all these events? But it's just kind of like, it's eerie. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like, it's not like gore horror. It's just like, it's make you think horror.
Sure.
Um, and it's just, it was a very good intro into what's being called the Bone Orchard mythos. So this is
I
just
like it.
like, you know, the real introduction was the Free Comic Book Day issue, which like, man, I might put something together for that. I really enjoyed that Free Comic Day issue.
Yeah.
It
Nice.
was just, yeah, it was real spooky. And then reading this, it was also just like, you know, what
Also
the
real
hell?
spooky.
Also real spooky. And so yeah, there's just more to come from this, and this was just the beginning of it. And this, I doubt that this is going to be the best work that they put out for it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's wow. That's good.
yeah,
I like that.
just knowing how Lemur and Sorrentino work together,
Mm-hmm.
and just having like read a few of their other works, it's just, yeah, I think that they are gearing up to maybe put together the best thing they've ever done together. So
Nice. You've heard it here
so yeah,
first. Put
you
that
heard
on
it.
the box art or something. I don't know.
So
Nice, man.
but yeah, it was just yeah, I don't want to, I say comics are fun a lot, and I needed to divert from that because
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't fun. It
Sure.
was exciting, it was thrilling, it was daunting.
Daunting. Oh,
Yeah, but
I like
yeah,
these
it was
words.
just, yeah. So
I'm definitely
if
gonna try to check it out. I think I'm
the-
gonna scoop a copy when it gets cheap. Uh when I find it
yeah,
someplace with a discount on, or like when my comic shop does a sale or something like that, I might pick it up. But
yeah,
do you mind if I squeeze in one more comic?
yeah, get it in there, man, squeeze it on
So
in.
I picked this up last week. We talked about it a little bit. It is Do a Power Bomb.
Oh, that's right, I forgot about that.
And part of the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because I approached this in a way that I feel like was the best way to read this comic, because it was I didn't read the publisher's summary, because if
Yeah.
I did, it would have spoiled the end of the comic.
Ooh.
And because I was putting my notes together, and I was going to be a good boy, and all the comics this week that we were going to talk I was going to talk about, I was going to put up the pub summary like I did for the last comic I read. But this one I didn't want to put up there because of that. I didn't want to spoil the ending, because I think it's so much better to be reading this story and then have this come across. But it's also, I can see why they did it, because it's a kind of, I won't say a twist, but it's an element that's added to the story that I think would potentially turn some people off if it just got dropped on them. I'll tell you what
Yeah.
it is if you're interested after we turn this off, or you can just go read the pub summary and it'll just tell you. Um, but yeah, so the story begins following this wrestler named Yua Steel Rose, and she's fighting her like career-long arch nemesis, Cobra Sun, and that's the two of them right down there. And it's like right from the get-go, you can tell that it's like gonna be a tragic story, because like everybody loves Steel Sun or Steel Rose. They're just like, you're the best, you're the coolest. Oh my god, like she's making people cry, people are cheering, people are booing the other people. And then there's an accident, the guy falls off the turnbuckle at wrong and does a power drive and breaks her neck and kills her. So the wrestler's daughter is in the crowd, and she's watching this with her dad and her uncle. And her uncle is in the boxing world, and her dad is kind of just a civilian, he just works. But the daughter wants to go into the boxing world, and she, there's a jump to 10 years later, she's boxing, but she's not doing it professionally, she's just kind of showing up to places and doing amateur boxing. And it's because no one will train her, because they don't want to be the one who brings her into the ring after her mother died in there.
Yeah.
And so it's like I forget how many issues it is. It's like 6 or 7. It's if it can keep my interest the whole time, that'll be great. That's a lot of issues, but I really
Yeah.
like the premise. I really like the art. It was a lot of fun. It was just kind of crazy and cool. So,
I might
um,
because I did want to pick this one up last week. And my shop didn't have it, or maybe they did have it and people got to it before I did.
right,
Either
yeah,
way, I might wait for the trade paperback on this and just gauge how you're doing with it.
yeah,
Because that's also something for me is, like, yeah, I collect comics, but I'm by no means an expert at it, and I need to be better at when saying like I'm just gonna wait for the trade paperback, wait for like the reviews on it, and get the trade
yeah.
paperback.
I honestly think doing this podcast has helped me because it's just like I want to read the things. If I'm going, I only have so much time and like to read comics, and like if it's not interesting enough for me, then I'm just dropping it because why waste my time and energy hoping that it gets better, which is a
Yeah,
shame because you know. But again, I think it'll be one of those things when free comic book day comes around or sales come around, then I'll just pick up the back issues when they're on sale or pick up the trade paperback when it's on sale or just get it when it comes out. So,
yeah,
and it's hard
that's a
because
good plan.
there's no other like form of art consumption that you have to consume in you have to choose how you consume it, right?
Hmm.
So like think about a musical album. When an album comes out, they do singles, but there's songs that they don't release and then they release the album. You don't have to buy you don't have to buy the first or second single and then it's a similar thing, but you get
Yeah,
more content when the CD comes out. And like I don't know. It's also just kind of given to you. It's a little bit easier to consume. You have to kind of wait, like decide if you're gonna jump on it. And also like it's more money. Most singles that come out are just free to like entice you to buy the CD. Whereas,
yeah,
the first several issues or first, couple issues, they're not free.
yeah.
That's at least $6, $7, $8, something like that. $8, yeah, minimum.
I need to start perusing the uh, the trade paperbacks when they're coming out.
Yeah.
Like even ones that like we're probably nearing the end of when you can like do something for June, but like stuff that's going to be coming, like you have to have your deadline in by July if you're going to get it. I might start looking at that stuff that's coming down the
Yeah.
road. But
It's interesting that you followed that. What is it? The FOA?
the
What
what?
does it stand? Isn't there like there's an acronym for like the date of that you have to order by, but I can't remember what it is in the comic
Oh,
book world.
let me see if it's
Well, you don't
well,
have
it's
to
just
look.
like the preview, the SKU. It's just the distributor SKU.
Yeah,
And so, I mean, like I'm looking at, do a Powerbomb 2, and the distributor SKU for it is May 22 0218. The
hmm
0218 is just like arbitrary, like this was just next in line.
right,
But it just means May of 2022. And these last 4 digits are like they're ascribed to this particular comic.
right.
There's another way that it's done too. DC has their own way of doing it.
Okay,
But
interesting.
I don't think all of their issues do it that way, but it doesn't matter. Your comic book shop knows what's up, so
Well, yeah, just talk to them. They'll figure it out. They'll know
they
when
don't
to
even
order
they
it.
don't even like I always like give them full details of the stuff, like if I email them like saying like, oh, I
Hmm
want to get this and this, and I'll put the distributor SKU in for them. And it's just like really all I'd have to do is send them the SKU.
Yeah,
They don't
or
really
just
care.
probably even say like, "I want this comic," and
Yeah.
they'll find it for you. But
Yeah.
either way,
That's how I'm gonna
I
start
mean, I'm
doing
sure
it.
it's nice to help. Maybe you should just order it for them. Why don't you order it for them? Send it to the shop. You find it online, you buy it, and then send it to the shop, and then buy it from them. So buy it twice.
Buy it twice.
That's what I'm saying. That's the saying here at Pullbox Pals. Buy it twice.
Buy it
Well, you
twice.
buy some comics twice, right?
I
You buy
do.
any?
No, I more do sometimes I'll buy it again digital.
Okay.
Like if I really like it and I really want to reread it, like I did that most recently with the first issue of West of Sundown.
Okay.
I've read that issue over and over again. Issue 2 definitely not as good. This issue 3, which I could talk about, which I read last week,
Sure, if
definitely
you
a
want to
step
mention it.
up. Yeah,
Okay.
I like where it's going. I'm glad that I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
It's starting to get into like the hunters and the hunted are starting to like battle a little bit.
Nice.
Um,
Love
but
it.
I don't know. I'm enjoying it, and it does still have like this beautiful blend of a classic horror, classic western.
Mm.
So I do enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump on the trade paperback. I'll see how you. That'll be one. I like. This is gonna be great, buddy. We're helping each other decide what comics we're reading. I'm gauging it off of you. We're
And
iron
I'm gauging
sharpening
off of
iron.
you.
To
That's
to
what the
quote a
pullbacks
comic book.
pals are for.
Yep. Pool boxes sharpening pool boxes.
Yes,
Um, Pool boxes filling pool boxes. Something
organizing.
like that.
It's,
I
fill it.
don't know. Hey,
And we might come up with something in there somewhere.
Mark.
Yeah.
Truth or dare?
Okay. um,
Pick one.
Dare.
Land this plane.
I can land this plane.
You can land this plane.
I real quick just want to touch
Oh, never
on.
mind.
I got one more, and then I'll land this plane.
Alrighty.
This
Oh, did
one
you
was
read that?
yeah, and it's as weird and creepy as you would guess it is from the cover, but also like enough to where it's like I do want to get issue 2,
Was it?
but like kind of
I'm
I like begrudgingly want to get issue 2 when it comes.
yeah, for some reason I'm rooting against this comic, which is is not the spirit we want of this podcast.
And for
Don't
those
root against
listening, it's called Seven Sons.
it has a very unsettling first issue cover, and
Yeah,
obviously I feel like that's on purpose from what I'm hearing from you.
yeah.
But it has turned me off completely. So did you enjoy it?
I think yeah, I did.
What or not acronyms? What adjectives would you use to describe it?
Um,
You got this. Think of one that isn't fun.
culty,
Culty.
mysterious. Yeah.
Mysterious.
Um,
Trample stomp.
you gotta have at least 3.
Yep.
Um,
One more.
so I said what culty and mysterious. Um,
Then I made up a word.
Conundrumy.
Conundrum. Isn't that okay? Wow.
I don't know. Like it's just like
Are you like what's
it's
happening here?
no, like I fully understand the story that's going on in it,
Mm-hmm.
but I just like I want to. It's like trying to turn your eyes away from like a car wreck. Like when you see it unfolding, you're just like, no, 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 no. Like I shouldn't be looking, no, no, no. But you can't. Like you're still turning your head, but you're still looking back. Like
Yeah.
that's how I felt reading this comic, where it's just like, there wasn't anything necessarily like entirely gruesome in it, but it's just like more of just humanity. And lately, I've come to say, my wife introduced me to this, but saying like humanity with an asterisk. Like we all come
Mm-hmm.
with an asterisk. And just like not necessarily these creepy characters on the front cover are what
Mm-hmm.
bothers me. It's the background characters and how they treat these people that is what is just like that's the car wreck that
Interesting.
I might, yeah. And so it's just, yeah, I actually plan on rereading it.
Yeah.
um
3 more times.
well yeah, at least 2 more times before the next issue comes out.
Nice.
But it did, I was drawn into it. And I'm excited to see like where it goes. And again, like I don't like saying excited because it's a creepy ass comic, like just the cover alone.
Yeah.
And it's very much, and it's creepy again. It's creepy in like the dark religious sense.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I might like that.
Like the last thing I have up here is Bounty Hunters. Bounty Hunters did not finish as well as it started.
Oh no.
I'll put it that way. This last issue was better than the last 4.
Yeah.
So it ended its arc well. But just the overall 24 issues for this series I feel like they could have amped it up a little bit more after War of the Bounty Hunters. It started to dip after War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah. That's a
For
shame
me,
because it's such a cool concept.
it is, but there's more to come. I think they're gonna do bounty hunters again, and it's gonna, Star Wars is apparently, according to something Taika Waititi said, because his movie's coming out, is that like they're gonna start moving away from the legacy characters and start focusing more on like developing new characters,
Fantastic.
which they have done well in with the High Republic. I really
Mhm.
liked. I also like that. And that's another thing too. Like bounty hunters might be worth rereading at some point, because it is in a way kind of the passing of the torch from like the legacy bounty hunters that we know from all the 5 or 6 characters that were standing behind Vader and Empire Strikes Back. Like that's
Mhm.
where it all started, the series, but it's
Mhm.
ending with these like this new group of bounty hunters that didn't really work together. And like, I mean, some of them are just, it's a further exploration of these characters that were standing behind Vader, like Zukos
Mhm.
and Forlom and even Dengar, and so it's
Dang.
Dengar. So yeah,
Nice.
he's actually who saved the final 2 issues for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like just his story in those 2 issues made it worth it to finish it out
Yeah.
for me.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad you
But yeah,
finished it out. Hopefully it picks up a little bit better next time it comes rolling around.
but yeah, and again, I think I said this. I'm also rereading the mainline Star Wars series just because like I love the villain that they introduced for the entire series. It's
Mhm.
it's the right hand of Tarkin, and her and Tarkin had some beef. Uh,
Mm.
and then the Death Star exploded, and so then they never got to squash that beef. And
You
so
hate you
her
hate
name's
unsqu
Commander Zara, Aline Zara, or Elaine Zara,
Okay.
and like her arch nemesis is Leia. And so this whole Star Wars, I now that I'm rereading back on it, it's so much. It's what I think it's what fans would have wanted out of like the actual episode 9 had
Mm.
Carrie Fisher not passed away.
Mhm.
Um,
Interesting. So
like
very
just
Leia focused and her doing fun, cool Force stuff.
Well, not necessarily that she's doing Force stuff, but
Or
just becoming the leader that we saw her like become throughout the original trilogy.
right.
Just like that developing, like I'm a young, like, I'm the poster child for this rebellion, but like I don't just want to be the poster child that's taking pictures and being told what to do. Like I want to be in command and take this, but it also just shows like the Skywalker that is in here. And
Mm.
again, even the show now that it's ended, like I didn't really care for the girl, and nothing against her. I could tell that she was not a 10-year-old girl, and it bothered me throughout the series. But like
Yeah, I think that's true for a lot of people.
just the exploration of the young Leia, and just showing, you know, like it was a beautiful thing with like Obi-Wan being able to explain to her like, yes, I knew your actual parents, and
Yeah.
these are the gifts that you got from them. And again,
Yeah.
just like not mentioning all the negative aspects that happened with Anakin and Padme, but like just what the good qualities of them were, and like saying, you know you have these good things from your parents, and you're going to
Right.
do great things
Yeah.
going forward. And so I like that's one of the things I'll take out of like what's currently going on with Star Wars, because I would, and I've talked about it the last couple of weeks too. I've been real tiptoey about it, because
Yeah.
it's been a lot at once. But now that we're kind of at this, all the comic book arcs are finishing. Obi-Wan just finished. Obi-Wan started off, you know, debatable,
Yeah.
and but I just think it finished well, and I think that overall Star Wars is still just doing a great job, but no, the perfection's impossible for
Yeah.
them.
And it's so hard with something like that. Well, hey man, I think we
We do.
should
We need to land this plane. So everybody,
we do.
cheers for sticking with us
Cheers.
and chatting comics with us. We will be back here next week. As far as I know, we
Yeah.
are. There's
As far as
nothing.
I know, we are.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have more to talk about next week. We've both got new comics, and I'm excited about them already. So
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're going to be covering the Silver Coin, probably the Illustrated Witch. So it'll be fun. We'll have a couple that we can chat about together.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll.
I don't even know if we
next week. What?
Hold on before we go. I don't even know if we thanked him at the beginning, but
We
big shout out
didn't.
to the IWEP
Apologies.
Network for hosting us and allowing us to use their platform and for promoting us along with a lot of other great podcasts. So make sure to check out. Make sure to check out Banging Beers, Tornado Tag, Welcome Back podcast. I never talk about them, but they're on the network as well. So make sure to check out all this fantastic stuff. There's more than what I listed even. So they are linked in our link tree. Go to their website, check it all out. Make sure you have a good time. Enjoy them all. And that was me. I did the intro. So sorry, I forgot about that. But yeah, Mark, it was good talking comics with you, buddy.
You too, buddy.
And good listening, fun time for you, friends. All right, friends. All right. We will see you next week. Same pool time, same pool channel.
Bye.
Bye.